Hello everyone, it's Coach Susan Dentino here, and we are on episode 4 of our CACR coaching. So welcome everybody, and I hope you're enjoying some lovely spring weather. And what we're going to be talking about today is social media. So I'm going to say that you must know something about social media since you're watching me on Facebook Live. So I'm assuming that most of you have got a Facebook page and have got, a pretty good idea. But what we're going to be doing is an overview of social media and just knowing what each Facebook, Twitter, what each one does, and some tips and hints as to why you might prefer to use one over the other. And I definitely will be taking your questions, so I'll be checking every once in a while to see what you might have to say. I want to begin, even though we're not going to be talking about websites today, with a very important suggestion that I have for you, okay? And that is to register your name. All right. Even if you're not sure what you're going to call your website, or maybe you have a website up right now that has a different name that describes more about what you do than you as a person, I will tell you that one way or the other, it is very important that you register your name. When I first began, I actually had my website just with my book, my children's book actually, A Year of Me. And that was my website, ayearofme.com. And I took one of my certification programs with Doreen, and she strongly suggested registering our names, and she told us all a little story about how she had not registered her name, and because of that somebody else had registered her name, more or less bought the rights to her name, so Doreen Virtue actually had to go and get the rights to her name from this person. And that's sometimes what people will do. As you start getting more famous, for lack of a better word, and your name gets out there more, there are people out there that kind of look for things like that, and what they'll do is if your name is not registered, they will get your name and they'll register it, and then they'll offer you very kindly for you to have to buy your name back. So what exactly do we mean by registering our name? Well, there's an organization that's called ICANN, and that's ICANN, and all domain names are registered with them. Okay, so what you can do, and again, I'm going to just give you suggestions throughout this show. On my Facebook fan page, I have posted all the links that I'm going to be talking about today, and I have it pinned to the top, so you don't have to worry about going there now, but I don't want you to worry that you're going to miss a link by watching this Facebook Live event, because they're all on my fan page. So what you want to do when you're registering is go to one of the websites that allow you to register your name. Register.com is one, and that was the one that I used. And again, I'm not in any way endorsing any. I'm just going to tell you my experience. I used them only because at the time there weren't that many options. So again, that link is up there. Register.com, GoDaddy.com, Wix, Wix.com. The nice thing about any of these services is that they also offer you the opportunity to very affordably build a website. And again, the reason we're not talking about websites today is because I wanted to get into social media, because I think for many of you it's easier to create a Facebook fan page right now than to get a whole website going up. So there is a method to my madness, and let me take a moment here for those of you that might be new to introduce myself. You see, I'm so anxious to make sure that I get you all your information that I forget to do that. So my name is Susan Dentino. I've taken just about all of Doreen certification programs. I do this work full-time. I'm the author of a Hay House book, Songs of My Life, Slightly Out of Tune. I have meditation CD out, Butterfly Blessing, as well as a children's book, A Year of Me. And all the information on these products are on my website, which is susandentino.com, which is what I'm talking to you about right now. And if you're having any issues with the shop page, because I've recently been doing some renovations, please feel free to message me if there's some. I have a really good meditation up there for 444 called Invocation of the Archangels, and it's really something great that you could use prior to your readings or something. It's a 9-minute meditation if you just wanted to do something quickly. But anyways, if you do have any issues accessing and there's anything you'd like to purchase, please feel free to message me and I'll make sure you get it. So now getting back to the whole registering your name thing. So once you come up with whatever name you want to title your website, regardless of that, you want to make sure that you get your name officially registered. And what will happen is you'll go to a website like GoDaddy.com and there'll be a blank there and you will fill in your name and see if it's available. All right. So maybe some of you that have relatively, common names, like say a name like John Smith or something that might be already taken, because you can't register a name if it's already been taken, then what you might want to do is use your middle initial or come up with a little something, maybe a number after your name. They will give you options of ways you can use your name. You always, if at all possible, want to get a .com. They'll give you other options. There'll be .com and then it'll come to me. But there's other options that they'll give you that you can put at the end of your name. You definitely, like I said, want to get a .com if at all possible. And if what they'll do is they'll give you suggestions of the other dots. .co is one that you can use. Now, I think with this, it's a personal preference. And again, you CACRs, you're using your own intuitive ideas. So when you're registering this information, go with your gut as to what it is that you think that you should really need. Some people want to do them all, and usually when you're just registering your name, they'll make that very affordable for you. They'll give you a deal. The more names you register, the less expensive it is. Then we get into a whole other thing with hosting and building your website, and we aren't going to be talking about that today. But because it's so important, I really wanted to tell you to really look into registering your name if it's not registered as soon as possible. So even if you're somebody that thinks you're just going to work on Facebook, you're not going to build a website, because I know there's some theories out there that now that people feel social media is more important, and they feel like, okay, well, why even bother? Because websites, usually you can do an affordable one on your own, but it's been my experience that the more you do, you'll find that you might want a professional person to help you, and that can run into some money. So what we're going to be talking about today is giving you a first step in marketing prior to building your own website. So register your name, very important. And again, all these links and little suggestions are up on my Facebook fan page. All right, so speaking about a Facebook fan page, as I said, all of you now obviously have a Facebook page of some kind because you're watching me. So you could either have a Facebook friend page or a Facebook fan page. What is the difference between the two? Well, a Facebook fan page is geared more to your business. A Facebook friend page is exactly what it says. It's gearing you towards your friends. So when somebody comes and asks you if they can be your friend, what they're doing is automatically being added to your friend page. Now, I've been on Facebook for a long time, and when I first started, I didn't have a fan page because at the time it was all about friends and getting friends and how many friends you could get. Well, as things in Facebook grew, they created this different persona, which is the fan page persona. And on this list, I have a link, and I discovered a great tool for all of you out there. It's called Wiki, W-I-K-I, How. And that website gives you step-by-steps how to do everything we're going to be talking about today with pictures. So really, it's very easy to do. So maybe what you could do is pick up the WikiHow link on one of your smartphones, your iPad, your laptop or something, and then build whatever it is you're doing, your Facebook fan page, while you've got those steps by steps. But Facebook makes it very easy. So you've got your friend page. Now let's talk a little bit about your friend page, because as I said, I developed that prior to my fan page. I have many people on my friend page that also are my fans. So I don't tend to have a super personal friend page. Now, what do I mean by that? I don't put like everything that happens to me personally on my fan page. I mean on my friend page. Recently, I've been writing on my fan page, then it'll also come up on my friend page, a lot about what I'm going through right now because I lost my husband in October. So I've really been compelled to share that. It's part of my grieving process, and I'm really hoping that my own experience is assisting other people. So I'm posting it on my fan page, but I'm also posting this on my friend page. So this, of course, is something that's very personal. Now, talking about personal, do I post my political leanings on my friend page? No, I don't. There are some things that every once in a while, I might kind of like, and people might get an idea where I lean. I think anybody that watches me or listens to me would have a pretty good idea of where I lean. But when you are looking to build this as a marketing tool, you don't want to be putting ideas out there that are in any way going to alienate people. So what some people will do, will have a private friend page where they feel very comfortable posting all of their personal things and then using it as a forum to vent about their political leanings or what they see going on. That's great. And if you keep that private and select, great, go for it. But if you're somebody who accepts many friends, and we've got all different people with all different ideas, then you might want to be cautious about what you're putting up on that friend page. And what I would really suggest and keep in mind, especially this is true in Muggle world, as they say, in mainstream, many employers now are going to your Facebook pages to see the types of things you post as part of your interview process. So just keep that in mind. I think we've heard some stories about things showing up on Facebook and employers have seen them and people have lost their jobs. Now with social media, I would say caution should be a big red word before you post anything to make sure that you really tread lightly. So now you've got your friend page, so now your fan page. And again, I have the WikiHow step by step exactly how to create your fan page. This page is your marketing tool, and you can identify yourself in any way you would like. And again, all of this will be described in this WikiHow. The reason I didn't want to get into these very deliberate steps is because this is a great way to look at it just by following those links I have, and I wanted to give you an overview versus taking you through a step by step, because obviously when you're watching this you can't do the things that you're watching at the same time. So this is why I'm just going to talk to you about what these pages do versus giving you step by step guidelines, but the links are up there. So now you've got your fan page. You can identify yourself. I began by identifying myself as a writer. Now I'm up there as a public figure. And again, the wider you describe yourself, the wider way you describe yourself, I guess would be the best way to put it, the more likely you are to be picked up when people are looking for different things. So you might not want to just put one thing. Like I felt writer was too limited because I do speaking, I do readings. I didn't want to just identify myself as a writer. So I put public figure. But again, all this will be described in your step-by-step process. So you decide again, what do you want to call your fan page? My fan page is my name. And as much as many of you out there might feel, well, talking just about your name might be too much in the ego, really, ultimately, that's what you want to be known by. And you can sometimes have another page in a name like, Angel Readings Forever or something like that. But I have found, and my colleagues and the people that I work with more and more really have stuck to using their name as their Facebook fan page. So if you have a fan page out there right now and you're thinking about changing, there's also ways that you can merge these pages. And again, you want to check that out. Google being your best friend, how you do this. I know there's also a way to merge friend to fan page, but I have heard mixed results with that, so I have kept the two separate. So that again might be something that you want to explore and discover. One of the things that's very significant about Facebook is that as a marketing tool, when you have a fan page, you can boost your posts very affordably too. And by boosting your boosting your posts for a couple dollars, what it does is it takes your posts out to more people. So say that you're doing a workshop in your particular area and you create an event, and again, on a fan page, you're going to do everything from your fan page. You're going to create your events from your fan page. You're going to post your pretty boxes on your fan page. You're going to do everything on that fan page. Even if you have a personal page, you can share what you have on your fan page with your friends. And again, there's always a drop-down menu by your picture. And if you have more than one page, for instance, like if I go to my fan page and I click on my that teeny picture that's up in the corner when you're posting, it's the right-hand corner. You click on that, you'll get a drop-down, and you can post as whatever page you administer. So, for instance, I administer the Facebook, my Facebook group for my night shift, my radio show. And thank you, so many of you have joined. We're really having fun there. And just a reminder, I don't do mini readings throughout this at all. I'm just really here as an advisor and a coach, so to speak. But I do mini readings on my radio show, The Night Shift, which is at 7 p.m. every Tuesday on W4CY Radio. So I have a group that people come into and are able to post their questions, so I can post something from my fan page onto that page. Now, why would you want to do that? Because the more exposure your fan page gets, the better. Why? Because you want to get likes over there. So that is your goal with your fan page. Your goal with your fan page is to get as many likes as you possibly can. Now, this might all seem like a game, but right now, publishers are looking at how many fans you have on your fan page when you approach them about publishing something. And it used to be, it might have gotten higher, but 10,000 was really like the minimum number they were looking for. And that is a big number. So, what you want to really do is build that fan page as much as you possibly can. And again, there is a multitude of information online as to how to do it. Now, one of the things I know people have asked about are the pretty boxes that we post on CACR. You'll see different pretty boxes. They're also called memes, M-E-M-E, and people have been asking quite a bit, okay, how do we do it? Now there's memes with special effects. Okay, I create all my own memes. So the CACR coaching ones that you're seeing up there, I create. What I do, first of all, if at all possible, I use my own photograph. Now, why do I do that? Because you'll read different things about copyright infringement. And when, you don't have that many people following you, then you can get away with maybe using a Peanuts picture, something like that. But I would strongly advise you to start developing your own stock of photographs. And now with the way you can take such great photos on your phone, always have your phone handy and start creating pictures that you can see, that remind you of a quote, that remind you of something that you would like to say to other people. I recently came across a website, and it's Pixabay, Pixabay. And you know what? I am going to add this information to those links because I don't have this up there. So I will add this after the show. They have a multitude of pictures that are royalty free. You don't have to pay for them at all. And they say you can use them for commercial use. So if I can't find anything in my own pictures, which is where I go to first, what I will do is go there. As a matter of fact, the picture that's up on the CACR page now, that's where I got it from. Some of the pictures that will come up will be from Shutterstock, but Shutterstock you have to pay for. So for, and if that's something you want to do, great. But right now, if you're trying to be as affordable as possible, you use your own pictures, or else look for pictures that specifically say that you can use them for commercial use for free. And that protects you. Now, there are people out there that'll say, well, that doesn't protect you so much. As a matter of fact, I want to mention something that did come up last time when we were talking about email readings and taking pictures of the cards and then sending them to your client in email readings. And somebody put in the comments after the Facebook Live event that they had reached out to Hay House, and Hay House had said that would be a copyright infringement. Now, I honestly haven't explored that. I found it interesting. I think it's something that I would say to you. Again, I think if that was the case, then so many people that post the angel card readings of the day with those types of cards, with Hay House cards, I don't really think that would be an issue, but I wanted to thank the person that did point that out, just to mention that. But that is something, like I said, that you just want to be cautious of how you use these. Now, the other thing when you're doing your memes is putting text on your memes. You want to be able to write the words that you want to say. If you are quoting somebody, you have to give the person credit in your meme that you're quoting. Okay, so if you're taking a quote from a book, if you're taking one of Radley Valentine's quotes, somebody's quotes, you have to make sure that you give them credit, okay, in the meme. What you can do is there is word swag. And I think what I'm going to do is create a whole different thing. And again, I'll put this on my, up on that link on my page. Word swag, that's WRODSWAG. You can use that to put text on pictures. There's Fotor, FOTOR. These are both .coms. They're apps. All these things that I am talking about right now, except Pixabay, are apps that you can use to put text on pictures. There's also a PC, and I am sure it's available for Mac as well, website that you can go to that's called P-I-C-K Monkey. And again, I am going to put all of these up on my page as well as we're talking about these memes. These are all things that you can use to put text on your pictures, and they'll give you options as to how you want to put, you know, the text, what type of text you want to use, what color you want to use. Okay, you've got all of that. So these are ways that you can just create a standard meme. Now what you can also do is take somebody's meme that you see come up in your feed and you can share that meme. Now the only thing I would say is when you share it, what usually happens is that it shows you as sharing the meme, but sometimes it'll revert back to the person who originally posted it. So what I do when I see a meme I really like, what I'll do is I will copy that meme and I'll, you know, put it in my photos. Then I'll go to my fan page and I will post that meme on my fan page as me, and I will say thank you and whoever wrote the meme. Again, let's use Radley, our good friend. Thank you, Radley Valentine. And then I'll share it that way. Because again, we're not getting into ego. What we're doing though is we want to draw people to our fan page because we're trying to build our fan base. We're trying to get as many likes as we possibly can. Okay, so now these are your standard memes. All right, now so many people are enamored of the memes that are animated, and we've got sparkles and all these things going on. Well, I have to thank my good friend Radley Valentine. His name keeps on coming up in this show, but who better to talk about? And he was the one who told me about this wonderful app called Lumyer. Lumyer. And you can download that for free, and it gives you a multitude of effects that you can use in your memes and animates those memes. That's it. Now there might be more out there, and I know there's things you can do with Photoshop, and for those of you that are inclined with Photoshop and have that ability, graphic artists, that opens up a completely new way of doing things. And you know, I know there's many talented people out there with it, but if you're looking for easy breezy, which is where I am, Photoshop can kind of be challenging to learn. These are some great tools. So we're talking about Pixabay, Pixabay, for images. PicMonkey, putting text on images. These are available on PCs, okay? So you can use those on your desktop, your laptop, Macs, things like that. Then we've got Fotor, F-O-T-O-R, for putting text on your pictures, WordSwag. And again, I'm sure there's other ones out there. Those are the ones I've used. The nice thing about Lumyer as well is that Lumyer does allow you to put on text. That being said, I find it a little bit quirky. So what I prefer to do if I can is put the text on my picture first and then take it over to Lumyer and animate it. But if you've got a simple text statement you're going to put, you know, you can put it on there. Somehow put your name on these memes. Now you've credited people that you've taken quotes from, but if you're good at creating your own quotes, you want to take credit for this, because if somebody is sharing it, you want to make sure sure that you get credit for it. So what you can do is put your own name somewhere on a meme. I try and put mine in a rather, obscure place, but it's still there. So if anybody sees it, my name is there and I'm taking credit for it. So just make sure. Some people, what they like to do is put maybe Facebook first, / and their name. And again, drawing people to that Facebook fan page, because that's ultimately what we want to do. So I'm just going to pause for a moment here. I'm going to see if I can scroll through these comments fast, get out my trusty glasses and see if... Okay. All right. Claudia is saying she agrees with me about putting text first before editing on Lumiere. Yes, it can be a challenge. Text on Lumiere can be a challenge. Okay, thank you. Oh, Rad, hi Rad, here I'm talking about you, here you are. Okay, so we've got Rad texting and giving us all the information up there. Can you get around the copyright issue with the cards if you declare who the cards are by? That's a question from Orla. I'm going to explore this, Orla, in a little bit more detail, because again, I know each week on my radio show, I post a card on my radio show and I take it from a deck. I credit the deck I'm taking it from. So I don't know. I can't see with the way everybody's posting these cards on Facebook that would be a copyright issue. I really would agree that as long as you're crediting them, this is the whole thing to keep in mind as we're talking about pretty boxes and we're talking about creating these things. You want to give credit where credit's due. Okay? Err on the side of giving too much credit versus not giving enough when you're doing any of this type of work. Your memes, anything like that. It was funny because when I was doing Susanisms on a daily basis, which is my blog, and again, I've got to get back to that, but I was using somebody's photograph that I knew, and I kind of thought, and I did give her credit in the beginning, but it was something that came up every time my blog came up, and her name always didn't come up. She had a problem with that, and I can understand it. She reached out to me, I corrected it, but I'll tell you, after that time, I started using strictly my own photographs. So, err on the side of more respect for whoever's material you're using versus less. So thank you for that, Orla. Let's just see what else we have. Okay, I think Rad posted about this. I'm trying to get through all of these. Okay, so people asking if this will be available for replay. Yes, it will, and I have posted on that series of links my YouTube channel, because if you haven't watched, so far we've covered angel parties, we've covered a CACR survival kit, and last week we did a readings refresher, and I get these up as soon as I possibly can, so this one will be up again too. Okay, so talking about Facebook, and again, we could spend hours. There's courses about marketing yourself in Facebook, and I think again, the reason I'm talking about Facebook prior to websites is if you want to get a presence up there quickly and start promoting yourself, creating a fan page with Facebook is the best thing to do. There's also ways you can create events. So if you have anything like a workshop coming up, and I think I started talking about this earlier and got sidetracked. Say you've got a workshop coming up in your area and you're presenting, we'll use myself for an example. I'm presenting a workshop in Southwest Florida. So what I'll do is I will create an event, and there's a way when you create an event and you invite friends, you can have your friends list designated in such a way that you'll have specific people that you would be inviting. So obviously, as much as my friends from Buffalo, New York would love to come to my event in Southwest Florida, it might not be doable. So what I'll do is I will go into my friends list of my Southwest Florida friends, and I specifically invite them to that event. So you do have that ability to do that. Also, say I decide to promote this event. Say I decide to pay $5 to promote it to more people that live in the Southwest Florida area. You can pick and choose who you promote this event to. And again, it's all very user-friendly, drop-down menus. But I am telling you, I have learned so much getting ready for these coaching sessions by just exploring the different the different leads and ways of getting the information. So again, if whatever, you use Google, whatever you use as a resource, you just put that in. How do I, select an event to go to specific people? Step-by-step directions are there that you can really benefit from. So this is why I'm focusing on Facebook, feeling like this is really what you want to do. When you create one of those beautiful, pretty boxes, you want to share it as much as you can, and your hope is that as many of your friends share it as they can. So if you've got a close group of friends that you can really speak to, ask them. Say, you know what, I'm trying to build myself up. I'd really like, you to start sharing my things. And the more people that you get to see your stuff, the more people drawn to your page and the more fans that you have. So just know that this is really a positive way to promote yourself, relatively easy. I know many of you post a card of the day. You like to take a card and pick that. That brings people over. Another really popular thing that I've seen on Facebook is people will post like 3 cards face down and maybe put a letter by these cards and then tell people to pick the card. Like say this feed goes through for an hour. Ask people to pick one card they like, and then maybe at the end of the day they tell people what card they picked and what it meant. So if you picked A, it means this. If you picked B, see, these are all like ways that people are going to be attracted to you. People are going to be drawn in. People are going to know what you're all about. And again, keeping in mind with your friends page, okay? So say you're just promoting yourself on friends. If Facebook finds out you're doing business on your friends page, they can take that page down. So that's why you want to have a fan page. The friend page is exactly what it says. It's all about your friends. A fan page is designed for your business. So, I think it's limited to 5,000 friends, if I'm not mistaken, where it's limitless if you go on to the fan page. So just a couple things. What you'll get in the emails then, once you have a fan page, is I think it comes either once or twice a week. They'll send you an email, and it'll have the statistics of how many people visited your page, how many people liked your page, and what it will show you is what happened last week and what happened this week. There's a lot of analytics involved with the fan page that you have access to. And I will be the first one to admit that numbers are not my strong point. So usually what I'll look at is how many people have visited and how many new likes I have. And one thing I'm going to tell you that I have learned, because this was something that I have no idea why it happens, and I will be honest with you that it bothered me, okay, as I am trying to build my fans. What I would notice was that sometimes I would have a slew of people like me, and then all of a sudden I would lose fans. And when this first started happening, I thought, oh my gosh, who could possibly unlike me? What did I say that might have offended somebody? And I Googled it and I looked it up and, to see, and then they described reasons why people might decide to unlike you, and none of them really resonated with me. So one thing I want to say, as you're doing this, don't get too caught up with it. You're doing this to market yourself. You want to get out there. But I think that Facebook has this whole idea that once you start getting a lot of likes, I have heard that they will look and see like the people that are liking your stuff, and they might be doing their own kind of filtering. From people that I've talked to about this, and again, once you have big numbers, you wouldn't notice, but when you're building, you might notice. Don't fret about it. It has happened to me, and nobody can explain it, and I think it's just one of those things that Facebook does. So I want to make sure that I talked about that. So, creating events on your fan page, pulling people to your fan page as much as possible is your goal with the Facebook fan page. So, let's talk a little bit about Twitter. Okay, what is Twitter? Well, Twitter is different. I think now Twitter's become more popular because of our president, and he tweets so many times. The difference between Twitter and Facebook is Twitter is limited to 140 characters, and these characters that you use are called tweets, okay? And again, it was designed for a social media friends thing to get together, and now it's taken on more where people are using it for business. What I would suggest with a Twitter account, and I think they're valuable and something you want to look into, and again, how to create a Twitter account is right there on my right there on that group of links. What the one thing that I would say, I don't tweet a lot. I know there are people that do in my industry, and I think the more you can utilize these social media tools, the better. So the more ways you can get your name out, the better. What I have is my Twitter account linked to my Facebook account. So when I post, it automatically goes up onto my tweet, okay? So usually my posts are not 140 words, okay? They're longer than that. So what I've learned to do is make sure that even before with my pretty boxes, I just put them up there. I wouldn't describe them, wouldn't say anything about them. Because I know it's automatically going up on Twitter, what I will do is I'll write a little sentence right before my pretty box, like, I invite you to, or something that I feel, again, might encourage people that see the link, because that's all they see on Twitter. They're not seeing anything else. They'll just see a link that will take you back to your Facebook page because you've linked the two. It'll take you back to that, say it is, one of your memes. It'll take you back to that. So you want to get a hook to make them open it. Otherwise, they see one of those it's a BIT link, and people aren't going to be that inclined to really check that out. So just, looking into that and just making sure that when you use Twitter, that's the way you do it. So again, valuable social tool. Many people, use that. Facebook, again, I think is the one when you're just starting that is the most important, in my opinion. Now, Instagram is another one. And Instagram, again, posting pictures. More and more people are going to Instagram in addition to Facebook as a way to present themselves live. Like, I know that there are people that do these live broadcasts and do them on Instagram as well as doing them on Facebook. Instagram just started this. Instagram, again, started as a social tool where primarily it was instant. You put pictures, again, it's not something for a lot of words. Primarily, Instagram is about pictures. So you put your memes up there. I don't have my Facebook and my Instagram account linked because I prefer to just go on Instagram and put a picture up there and follow it that way. How to create an Instagram account, again, that link is available with the wiki how that I've got up over on my fan page. All of these different tools. Now there's LinkedIn as well, and I'm just going to kind of leave LinkedIn for now, primarily because I think for the work that you do and the work you're striving to get out there, these three that I'm mentioning really should be your focus. What I find, especially if you're working, a day job or you're busy in other areas, you want to keep the social media marketing as effective as possible, as quickly as possible. So there's a way that you can schedule posts to come up on Facebook. So maybe your day off on Saturday, you want to create a meme a day, and you can schedule one to come out every day. And there's ways that, again, everything is available with the click of your mouse, how to schedule this. Rather than publish immediately, you click and it'll bring down a drop box. It says schedule. You click on schedule. It will give you your options as to when to schedule these. So they're really making all of these things user-friendly. Facebook is constantly updating what they do. There's ways that you can use Facebook that they will help to bring more fans to you. And again, it's for a fee. So you have to decide what your budget is and what you're striving to do with that page. So, crash course in all of this, I really am relying on the ability of you to go to these links to assist you in creating the things that you feel are important to how you want to get yourself out there into the social media world. So let me check here and see. Yes, and okay, so basically what Rad is saying is to give credit for cards like this. Ace of Water from Angel Tarot Cards by Doreen Virtue and Radley Valentine. Okay, and I know that's the way I credit those cards on my Facebook page for my radio show. As I said, each time I do a radio show, I pull a card from, I have a multitude of decks, and I put the card out there and I say the deck. Now, I will say I'm usually not specific in the card because the picture's there, but Radley is strongly recommending that you actually list the card's name that you're using. So, thank you, Radley, for pinning that to the top. And let me just see if I can see any other questions here. Okay, let's see. Donna just asked, will you be talking about payments via PayPal, via Facebook, websites, etc.? This is a good question, Donna, and I'm glad you're bringing this up. And I know now that Facebook does have ways that you can connect all these things. I was going to be discussing payments, websites, all of these things, tying these all in together in my next broadcast. I am taking next Saturday off. I'm going to have a house full of family getting ready for the Easter holiday. So since I broadcast way out in the open, I didn't think it would be too easy. Plus, I want to enjoy my family. So my next broadcast, let me just look at my calendar, will be April the 22nd at 12 noon Eastern time. So my next CACR, we're going to be talking about websites. I'm going to do a general review, and I'll be talking about taking payments. I know that, there are people that have got questions about radio shows, things like that. Little by little, I'm going to cover as many things as I possibly can. When you get into taking payments on your websites and things like this is why you might want to bring somebody in as a web designer that can assist you in doing that type of thing. And that's why I wanted to get more research on that. As far as Facebook taking payments on Facebook, I have not had experience with that. And the one thing that I'm really attempting to do as much as possible is not in any way lead you towards any type of endorsing when it's something that I haven't specifically used. Personally, I use PayPal. I have a PayPal account. Right now, as I said, my shop page on my website is not working as it should. But if you go to my website and sign up for services or anything, there's a button and it goes to PayPal. That's what I'm very familiar with, and that's what I'm comfortable using. So again, I know there's so many different things. We've talked a little bit about that Square thing that you can use, but obviously that's when you're in person. So the Facebook payment plan, only because I'm not super familiar with it. What I would strongly recommend, again, is that because we're talking about computer, internet marketing, that you use that as a tool with reviews, with anything that you're thinking about doing. Whether it's somebody, I know there's people out there that offer classes in marketing as far as Facebook goes. I really suggest that before you get involved with anybody, you ask for references with whatever you're doing, unless you're doing it yourself. Something as simple as, like I said, posting cards, which I felt I knew all about, and now we very thankfully to a few people pointing out that that is one copyright thing you've got to be cautious of. So just again, keeping that in mind. So let me see. Make sure they know that if they only post a picture on the card and not the whole card, they may be infringement. There you go. So here's another thing. Make sure they know that if they only, so what this is saying is that if you just take the picture off the card, that there might be issues with the artist. There's artwork involved with all those cards, and all the artists that have worked with the people that are creating the cards. In this case, we're talking about Radley and Doreen. There's, pictures. So if you in any way, say you like an angel picture that you see on a card, and you take that angel picture off the card and maybe want to just use that in your meme, that would be an infringement of that artist's rights. That's why I am telling you, when you're creating your memes, your pretty boxes, the more you can use your own photographs, the better. I went to my daughter too. Right now, as a matter of fact, when you go on my fan page, there's a beautiful picture of a butterfly, and that my granddaughter Naya took. She had just gotten a new camera that, yes, I happened to buy for her birthday, and she got a close-up lens and got that incredible picture. So my daughter takes pictures. I have them sent to her. The one time I used my other daughter's picture, she had posted on Facebook of her new little dog in the bed, and I've used that. So I really try whenever possible to use my own photographs. But again, if you're posting the card of the day, remember that's what you're doing. You're posting the card, you're giving that card credit. And you'll see, the more and more you do your own work, and even creating these memes with all of the, different apps we're talking about, when you do your own work, and you'll see somebody take your work, and they could just be innocent, but take your work and post it as their own, and you know what you've put into it, you really want to keep that in mind, because you'll find that that doesn't sit well with you. So you want to make sure that other people are given the same respect that you would respect for their own creations. Okay. How can we do a radio show? Okay, Carrie, let's see. Where are we looking here? I'm going to just... Yikes, this went by fast. Okay, I'm going to talk about this really quickly. Yes, you can do your own radio show. And again, this can be a wonderful marketing tool as well. There are different radio stations out there. Now, right now, I'm with W4CY.com radio. And I pay for my show. What I have done is worked out something with the gentleman who runs the station, and I pay by the year. So I pay one lump sum for a year for my show. And that's the way I personally do it. Now, there's Blog Talk Radio where you can actually have a free radio show. So there's ways that you can definitely take advantage of getting there. There's all different types of radio stations out there that are internet radio stations. And what we mean by that is they're up on the internet. So it's not like you have to go to a station in the old days and physically be there. So what I would say, again, caution is key with this. You want to make sure if you decide to go with the radio show, what I would strongly suggest is that you talk to at least one other host that's on the station that you're thinking about going on. Find out what's included for your payment if you're paying for it. Find out what their listeners are. The reason I went with this is because this station is more mainstream, and I really like the idea that my radio shows were going up on iHeartRadio as a podcast. I liked that validation. Now, I had been, on different radio stations prior to going to W4CY. So when I went there, I really knew what I wanted and I really knew what I was looking for. They have a chat room there, but I've created my own, The Night Shift with Susan Dentino. That's the name of the show. Airs every Tuesday evening, 7 p.m. live Eastern time. And I do mini readings. There's a subject of the evening, and then I have a card of the night like we're talking about. Then I do mini readings. I have a closed group so that people can post in their chat room, ask me questions. And I also look at the W4CY chat room, but that's where I get my information. I don't take callers during my show, and I have taken callers in past shows. And the main reason I don't do callers is I find that I can get to more readings by just going to questions in that respect. So, radio shows are a great way to get your name out there. They're a great advertising tool. But you have to decide. I would say that in the scheme of things, there's other things that would be a bigger priority. So if you're starting out and you really want to, get your website going, I would say to make sure you have an active website. That's why I really wasn't going to talk about radio shows yet, to make sure that you have an active website before you get involved. Now, I'm sure there's radio stations out there that will, maybe pay you, like something like Hay House Radio. I think when you go on that, you're invited as an author to go on that. So there are different stations, and I'm not talking about pay here. I'm just saying that there's different options out there. But right now, it's certainly a great way to do it. See, I want to remind everybody, and again, my name is Susan Dentino if you just joined, and I love what I do. I do this full time, and I'm by nature a teacher. And everything I do, be it my writing, be it my readings, be it my motivational speaking, I always want to teach. So when I'm on the radio, I look at it as an opportunity to teach, to reach people. And I find that when I'm doing this, just like what I've been sharing with all of you, I'm learning just as much as you are. Because again, so much of what I do in creating my own social media, I have just really discovered and kind of stumbled upon. My grandchildren just left. They spent the night and they're on to Siesta Key. And they're always amazed at Nani and her technical savvy when it comes to computers. But I've had to really learn this way because I was doing this prior to all of these new things being available. So, be your own resource person, and whenever you can, get people to talk to. I know, like I said, there's been a couple different stations I looked into, but I just felt that for what it was I wanted to do, and for me now on this station, I'm not super familiar with the rest of the shows, but I do know that I'm one of the only shows that's metaphysical, that's New Age. Now, many of these stations now are all New Age shows, and that's fine as well. But for me at this point, what I wanted to do was get my message out to what might be a more mainstream audience. In the beginning, people were asking me what oracle cards were. So that was the type of audience I had. So that's what I said. With everything that you're doing, be it your Facebook, be it your Twitter, with your Instagram, this is all reflections of you and who you are, not only as a person, but as a business. And I think now in these days of social media, sometimes, for instance, will come through in my feed and a good friend will put something up there that's very funny, but a little bit off color. I hide it if it's going through my feed. And it's not that I'm a prude, it's just that I don't in any way want to offend anybody. So remember, social media is just that. It's social and it's going out. So as far as radio shows go, I think they're great as a teaching tool. You can do mini readings on your radio show. People will come to your website, do things like that. But I would think that that would be something to do after you've got these other things in place. And we're also going to talk, I know people have had questions about YouTube. I wanted to really kind of talk about all of that together. So in the next one, April 22nd, we'll be talking about all of that. Just a reminder too, I'll be doing my full moon broadcast where we're going to be talking about this new energy. I know Mercury's going into retrograde, so we're going to be discussing all of that. And I will be doing mini readings during that, and that's going to be this Monday. Let's see, we are at the 14th. I'm sorry. Here, I'm trying to, the 10th. I should have known that off the top of my head as I'm looking at my calendar. Okay, this Monday, April 10th, the full moon actually happens on the next day, but I want to get you ready for the energy. So we're going to be talking about that. I will be doing mini readings. That's this Monday, April 10th, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. So let's just see. Okay, I'd like to know about the equipment needed to do Facebook Live videos. Okay, Cindy. Okay, right now I will tell you, I am just using an iPad because that's really the best way to do it. So I'm looking at an iPad, no special microphones. Right now I know there are some parts of the country where you can do Facebook Live off of your PCs or, off of a computer. In my neck of the woods, I can only use an iPad or an iPhone, and I have, as you can tell, enough trouble seeing the iPad. There's no way I'm going to try and do this off of an iPhone. So all you do is, it's very easy to do. When you click on your where you're going to post, there'll be again that beautiful drop down menu, and you'll have the option to go live. I don't have any special equipment. I am just strictly looking into my iPad, talking into my iPad. For those of you that might be doing this on a PC, that might be different. Now, for instance, getting back to the radio show, I have a standalone microphone for my radio show. I'm going to look at it quickly. Give you it's a blue, okay? So I have a standalone blue microphone and a set of headphones that plug into the microphone. My sound quality is really important to me when I'm doing my show. I do have a producer that assists me throughout the show. And again, that all comes with the cost of the show. So I do have that. So I would say if you're doing it in your PC, you might want to think about using an external headphone and microphone because you want really good sound quality. But I would think if it's coming out as well as it seems to come out just using an iPad, I would think that you'd be fine. So thank you for bringing up Facebook Live, because here I am on Facebook Live, and I know this is something that is also a tool. But let me tell you something about Facebook Live to keep in mind, because I've seen some people going up on Facebook Live, and remember that when you're up there, they're seeing everything exactly the way you look, okay? So again, if you're representing yourself and you're representing your business and you want credibility, make sure that you're presenting yourself on Facebook Live the way you would want to be seen, okay? And again, I'm not saying you have to go have a makeover or anything. However, you want to make sure that the image that you're portraying, because you're portraying somebody that really wants to encourage trust and integrity, make sure you're at your best when you're doing this. That's all. I know the other day I posted something down at the beach, and I debated, but I really made sure, I looked looked at everything and the people around me, because sometimes you got to be cautious if you're getting people that might not want to be included in a video, but it worked and it came out great. But I would just say, when you're doing these, remember, this is a part of your professional tools. You know, they're going to be seen again. They're going to be seen while they're live. They'll be seen again. You can post these videos on YouTube. And when we talk about that, I will also describe how to get your Facebook Live videos up on YouTube. But as you can see, as we go off in all these different tangents, so much of this is so technical that once you have an overview of the information that I'm providing, you really want to be able to sit back, digest it, take some notes. And again, I know Radley was kind enough, posted a lot in this feed, but I will go back and I'm going to add, you know, I'm going to create a different page, different comment thing, and just write a little bit about, you know, the different things you can use for the pretty boxes. There, again, these subjects are so broad. I could have spent this whole show just on Facebook. But again, I think that what's important is that each and every time that you're reaching out with what it is that you want to do, with what it is that you want to portray, the most important thing here is that you're enjoying it. This is about your passion. It's about what you love to do. So again, when you're putting out, I enjoy doing those pretty boxes, especially now with the animation. I really enjoy doing them. But there's some mornings I wake up, and especially I have to say, you know, this process that I'm going through right now, I don't feel like, you know, creating a pretty box. I'm not in a pretty box state of mind. Guess what? That's okay. Because remember, you should always be coming from that place of love, and most of all, self-love. So these are just all suggestions of things to look into. You don't want to be super hard on yourself, and you want to know that this is all part of what really is driving you, but it's so much based on passion and based on love, and that's what you want. Like I said, you can get caught up on these fan pages and get caught up in the numbers and wonder why this meme had more likes than the other meme. And it just, believe me, and again, I'm speaking from experience, learn to let it go as much as possible. That's my little sticky note on my computer. Let it go. I think if I have one tattoo on my ankle, which is a beautiful seashell, and I've really been thinking about having another, just a simple one written on my wrist that says, let it go, because I find that that's what I need to remind myself the most about. Life is really one of those things that there's so many ups and downs that you're totally out of control. So it's so important that when it's things like this that you just learn to let it go. So, okay, yes, I see we're just about at 1. Let me just take a quick look here. Yes, okay, and Monica is saying Facebook has a brand new feature using Google Chrome. You can use a webcam on your PC. This has just come available this past week. Monica, thank you so much. See, that's exactly what I'm saying. I am telling you these things that could be obsolete tomorrow. That's why it's so important that you investigate. And I have to say, Monica, I am not familiar with this. I do know that there's a way you can go live on YouTube if you want to go live on YouTube, because I've actually done that. But this is something that we'd have to investigate, because I am not familiar with that. So Facebook has a brand new feature, and I don't know if you've noticed it. I've really noticed it quite a bit on my iPad, iPhone, that Facebook is constantly doing these updates. So thank you so much for joining me. I know this was a ton of information. As I said, I'm going to go back onto my page and just add a few more things about creating these memes. I am going to devote an hour, and I want to get one more class here that will talk about, like I say, the YouTube. We'll talk about websites. Then I'm going to have a show that we're just going to be answering questions, so I can see where your thoughts are going and how much of this you need more explanation about. So again, I'm using my own intuition as we go through this to come up with topics I feel will really be beneficial. So I'm so happy that you're joining me and that you've continued to join me, and just want to wish you and yours, whatever holiday you're celebrating, a wonderful time, and I will see you 2 weeks from today. Yes, just double checking. It's April 22nd at 12 noon Eastern for our next CACR coaching session. This is Susan Dentino, aka Coach Susan. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye now.